Hi guys, it's Dr. Orlando here. I'm going to cover the anatomy of an atom. So we will look at two of these here and draw their pictures, their shell models. We've got oxygen and chlorine. Okay. So when you look at an atom, the center of the atom is very dense and has subatomic particles in it. If you look at oxygen over here, you can see that it's got some numbers, and those numbers help tell us what particles and how many, tell us how many each particle is in that center of the atom. The center of the atom here is called the nucleus. Okay. And in the nucleus you find the protons and neutrons. It's supposed to be a P there. Okay. Protons have a positive charge, neutrons have no charge. The neutron's job is really just to make the protons happy. With all those positive charges in there, they would likely repel each other. They would repel each other. So the neutrons are the buffers between the protons so that they all stay in the nucleus where they belong. Okay, so if you look at a periodic table, you will see tiles that look like these, and they will have numbers on them and letters. The letter represents the abbreviation for the element. So this is a O, this is oxygen. The 8 at the top is the atomic number. And this tells us the number of protons. The number at the bottom is the atomic mass. And this tells us about the protons, neutrons, and the electrons. The electron weight is very, very, very low, so it's almost negligible. So we can figure out how many neutrons there are by 5. So the number of neutrons equals the atomic mass minus the atomic number. Okay? And then finally, the number of electrons will equal the number of protons, assuming that this one that we are drawing does not have a charge. And if it's coming right off the periodic table, it doesn't. Okay? Alright, so I'd like you to draw the number of protons and neutrons in the nucleus. So 8 and 8, right? And then we start drawing shells. So atoms have these shells or orbitals. I'm going to draw them in yellow. And these are locations where you're likely to find the electrons, where they fly about the nucleus. Okay? And these orbitals have certain amount of energy associated with them that is associated with the electrons that are found there. So in the first energy level, the first orbital, we find 2 electrons. Okay, so those electrons are drawn as little dots, right? These rings are the orbitals, or the shells. Okay. And you may recall from the previous lecture or previous videl, the previous videl, that we fill these shells in a certain order. The first level gets 2, the first shell gets 2, the next shell gets 8, the next shell gets 8, and then, as I say, the fourth shell is going to get the leftovers, which isn't very many for any of the elements that we have to know. Okay, so step back here to where we were. We put 2 in the first shell because that's how many it should get. The second shell is going to get 8. Okay, well we only have 8 electrons, right? If we have 8 protons, we have 8 electrons. So there's 2. Let's finish them up. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, notice how I paired them up. They like to pair up with each other, but in this second and third shell, they don't pair up until there's already been 4 in their position. Okay, now we pair them up. And I always like to label them just like that. Okay, let's look at chlorine. Let's see if I can move this up. Ooh, not bigger. Okay. There we go. That's better. Okay. Cool. All right, so let's get our black here. We're going to look at chlorine. So in the nucleus, protons are going to equal 17. Neutrons are going to equal 18. In the nucleus, right? 17 protons because there's our atomic number. 18 neutrons because 35 minus 17 equals 18. All right, then we start drawing our shells. Okay, we're going to need 3 for this one. 2, 3. Okay, we'll go ahead and get our blue for our electrons. So we've got 17 protons, so we have 17 electrons. So we go 1, 2, that's full. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, that's full. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's it. Stop right there. Just going to fill those guys in a little bit. They look a little better. So that's 17. So you have what we have here is this outer shell is not full, right? Chlorine would love to have one more electron, and it often does take that one electron or share that electron with somebody. Share an electron to fill that outer shell. Okay, let's label him. Chlorine, CO. And that's it. Remember the anatomy of it. This interior was the nucleus, where you find the protons and the neutrons. And then these guys are the shells, or the orbitals. And these guys are the electrons. All right, have a good one. If you have any questions, give me a call.